Have you ever stopped to wonder, what if everything we call love is just fear dressed in beautiful words? What if the need to have someone, to belong to someone, is not always about connection, but about avoiding the emptiness that stares back when you're alone with yourself? What if what we proudly call a relationship is sometimes just a clever way to run away from the silence within? There is nothing closer to truth than the discomfort we feel in solitude. The Stoics knew this well. They urged us to imagine our final moments, lying on a quiet bed, the room still, the air heavy, the sum of our choices pressing upon us, and to ask one brutal question: did you live your life, or did you spend it trying to complete someone else's? Because in that silence, when all distractions fade, you can no longer hide behind your attachments. The Stoics warned us, never surrender your inner freedom. The chains you willingly accept, the ones disguised as love, validation, or belonging, are the hardest to break. We decorate those chains with romance. We call them loyalty, companionship, devotion. But deep down, something burns. Something whispers, you were meant for more. If you've ever felt that whisper, that quiet ache beneath the comfort of togetherness, then you already know this conversation is meant for you. Because to face yourself without masks, to meet your own soul without distractions, takes courage few ever find. Most people don't fall in love from a place of wholeness. They fall because they're terrified of silence, the kind of silence that makes you hear your own thoughts, the kind that exposes the questions you've been avoiding for years. There's an empty space inside, vast and echoing, so they fill it with another person, another story, another name, to silence the stillness. We rarely admit this. So much of what we call love is just avoidance dressed as devotion. It's easier to lose yourself in someone else's emotions than to confront your own. Carl Jung once wrote, "Loneliness does not come from having no people around you, but from being unable to communicate the things that matter most to you." And for many, relationships are not bridges to understanding. They're shields against loneliness, a way to pretend they're understood, even when they've never truly understood themselves. But love rooted in fear is fragile. Every silence feels like rejection. Every distance feels like danger. Every argument becomes a threat to survival. Soon love turns into negotiation, not of understanding, but of identity. You give up little pieces of yourself to keep the peace. You silence the parts that make others uncomfortable. You shrink to fit the space you're allowed to occupy. And over time, you fade, not dramatically, but quietly. One compromise at a time, one silence at a time, until one day you wake up and barely recognize the person in the mirror. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death a man should fear, but never beginning to live." And that's the quiet tragedy. So many people stop living the moment they fear being alone. When love is built on fear, it stops being love. It becomes survival. You start to cling, to control, to beg the other to stay, not because of love's purity, but because of love's terror. But the Stoics would tell you, no person can give you peace that you have not already found within yourself. A healthy love should expand you, not confine you. It should make you more of yourself, not less. Yet most people think suffocation is the cost of belonging. They call it compromise, maturity, stability, but they're really paying with their authenticity. And it's the most expensive currency in existence. The irony is that the silence they're running from, the stillness of solitude, isn't their enemy. It's their teacher. Because when the noise fades, you begin to hear your own voice again. At first, that voice is raw. It brings doubts, regrets, pain, but stay long enough, and you'll hear your calling, your truth, your freedom. Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. You cannot do that while constantly performing for someone else's comfort. When you stop chasing distractions and sit with yourself, really sit, something shifts. You no longer need someone to complete you. You want someone to walk beside you. And that kind of love, born from wholeness, cannot be broken by distance, time, or silence. But facing that silence, that takes warlike courage, because it means stopping the chase. It means standing still in the storm of your own thoughts and saying, I'm not running anymore. That is where freedom begins. From childhood, we're told the same story. You grow up, find someone, fall in love, settle down, happily ever after, as if the credits roll after marriage and that's the end of your becoming.